Hello everyone, my name is Vicky Gregors and this is my first YouTube video. I've had a channel for quite some time but never actually utilized everything YouTube has to offer. So finally my husband convinced me to document the various DIY projects that I do every now and then, and I listened to him and here I am, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own Christmas wreath. With the holidays approaching very quickly, it can be very expensive to decorate your home the way you want to. So what I've done for many years is I've made my own decorations, and it's very simple. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's a lot of fun. Today I got this simple wreath from Michael's. It's got no decorations. Just, it's wire. You can shape it. And I got some flowers that I'm going to use to decorate the wreath with. And it's going to be very simple. I'm just going to show you some tricks I've picked up from doing this in the past, and I hope you can follow along. Maybe you can come back to it later. But I hope you enjoy this project, and I hope you find it successful. So, let's get started. So I've moved my table closer to the camera so you can see everything better. So to start, what I'm actually just going to do is shape my wreath a little bit more. It's a little misshapen. They usually come that way. But you can make it look a little more full, kind of give the illusion that it's real, though we know it's not. But this will help also with putting the flowers in. Gives you more space for the stems. And you might have to do this several times throughout the process because it will keep getting bent. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. It already looks much better. So the next part is I'm going to put these to the side so they're not in the way. You're going to take your flowers and you're going to need a wire cutter, or maybe even a pair of scissors, it depends. And you're going to go through and cut the flowers off. You can leave anywhere from 3 inches to maybe 5 inches of stem on the flower. And the reason you leave so much is because you need the room to weave it into the wreath so that it doesn't fall out over time. Okay, so I've cut a good amount of what I think I'm going to need and use for this wreath. And I just wanted to show you that, some of them have a lot of leaves, and I don't like to use too many because it starts to look a little messy. So what I'm going to do with some of these is just take off the excess leaves. And I don't throw the excess away. I put them to the side. I use them again later for a different project. That's up to you what you want to do with them. I just think it can be nice to have, whoops, careful because that does happen. It can be nice to have some extra materials for a project you want to do later. Up to you, really up to you. So I'm just going to put mine aside because I know I will use them later. And I will find that pine cone later. So this is going to be very simple. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to start I think I'm going to start with the poinsettias. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your wreath and you'll lay the flower so that it faces outwards, obviously towards the viewer, and you'll just insert the stem, and you're going to take the stem and wrap it around the base of the wreath. And remember at the beginning I said you're probably going to have to readjust the leaves of the wreath several times throughout this process because you need to bend them back when you apply a flower. So you just kind of wrap it around like this. This is why you need the excess to just so you can really be sure that it's on the wreath, that it's not going to fall off as the season goes on. And don't make it too tight because you do want to be able to move the flower back and forth to adjust it. But there we have, there's our first flower. We're already off to a really great start. And I'm just going to go around and keep applying flowers and my holly leaves and pine cones. And some of them you may adjust, you may clip the stem shorter if you find that's easier for you. That's really up to you, whatever works best. Sometimes I even use my needle nose pliers here to wrap the stem around the wreath because that can hurt your fingers. But again, that's up to you. Whatever works for you, you'll figure it out, and just have fun. So I'm just going to keep going here. I don't like it to make it too uniform because you want it to look as natural as possible. One other thing I would like to mention is that oftentimes on wreaths, it will come to something of a point. That happens more often on larger wreaths, just because you have more space to play around. With a wreath this small, you can go either way. You can try and kind of make everything gravitate up to a point, and by doing that you would, for instance, angle flowers on each side upwards. But like I said, because this is so small, I'm not actually going to do that. I'm going to make it more random. So because of that, I'm actually going to angle some of them in different directions so that the eye continues to go around the wreath. It doesn't stop at any one point. If you decide that for your individual wreath you would like there to be a point, just make sure that when you're working on it, when you take a look at it, that you lay it down the same way each time so that you can really visualize where that point is going to be. So I just wanted to add that at this point in the process I've put all the poinsettias on that I wanted to add, and I'm continuing to add the pine cones. And the difference between applying the poinsettias and the pine cones is that you want the pine cone to extend a little further out from the wreath than the poinsettias do, because pine cones naturally do stick out a little bit more from their branches. So when I do them, I like to make them point in a little bit more, and when I wrap the stem around, you'll see there's actually quite a bit of stem that would be visible, but when we go back around, we'll make sure that it's covered up with these extra branches. So these are a little trickier to apply because they tend to move around a little bit more. And it may take you a few tries. This is probably where you're going to need your needle nose pliers. They really help you to wrap it around tighter. So there we have it. It's not as close to the wreath. It gives it a little bit more dimension, which is important. You don't, obviously wreaths are flat, but you don't want them to be so flat that they look like they've been in storage all year. So that really helps add some dimension to it. So you can see I actually have a very nice wreath now, and I haven't even added all of the supplies that I gathered. So what I'm going to do with the berries is I'm going to add them very sparingly, because a lot of times on a wreath you want one accent piece, and that's what these berries are going to be. And with accents you can very easily overdo it, so I'm only going to add probably 3 of these, and I'm going to apply them closer to the base of the wreath so that they're a little bit more subtle. So you see there the berries are going to be a little bit more hidden, and that's how I like to make a lot of my accents, is that I like to make sure that they stay subtle. On the other hand, if you really like something that's a little bit more busy looking, feel free to really make it your own. There's really no wrong way to make a wreath, to make any decoration, as long as you have a good time while you're making it and you enjoy the final product. So here we have it, the finished wreath. All that's left to do is to go around and kind of shape it up a little bit. You can readjust some of the flowers, the pine cones, really make it look nice and professional. And that's it. It's really an enjoyable project. It really doesn't take long. Makes a really good gift if you have someone that you know of who you think needs a little cheer in their home. Make them a wreath, and I'm sure they will appreciate it. It'll be very easy to hang, you know, just put a nail into the wall. Sometimes with some of my wreaths I will apply a string to the back and make something of a loop so that I can take the string and I can hang it that way. Sometimes people do that on their front doors. This is probably just going to go in this door behind me, and I may apply a string for that. Maybe I'll just use a hook. I'll have to see what I have lying around. But you can see I have a lot of excess left over here. I have more on this chair next to me. But this is great. I'll probably make this into some kind of bouquet and put it in the bathroom. Just something that's a little festive, something to brighten your day. So there we have it. That was my DIY project for the day. I hope you really enjoyed this project. I hope maybe you followed along, maybe you came back to the video. I'm going to adjust this slightly, but I hope you enjoy this process. I hope you come back for videos that I hope to make in the future, and spread the word. Let your friends know. If they need some DIY advice, they can come to my channel. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you may celebrate. Have a great season, and I'll see you again next time for the next video that I make. Take care.